Good morning,
Welcome, everyone.
everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Andy, I love that hat. I could tell what he was saying was ho, 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 right? Oh my goodness. Good morning, Una. Good morning, McKelly. Amy.
Oh, it's good to see you, Norma.
There's Bob Hostetter. Good morning, Bob. Wave. Good to see you.
I see Ted Reese, Una Martone. Great to see ya.
And there's Ted. Isn't Ted going to be playing his trumpet in the meeting today?
Well, we might be seeing a little bit more of Ted later on.
We might see a little more of Ted. That's just, you know, it's the little trailer right here. You may see Ted as the meeting goes along today. I can tell Ted is just sweating bullets at this point. What exactly is going to happen? We are in a Zoom meeting, as you know, here, and remember that at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you have all of the Zoom controls. So if you'd like to zero in on the speaker and zero everybody else out, that's where you do it. Happy Monday. Oh, somebody put it in the chat. Yeah, happy Monday. It's a beautiful day, isn't it, out there? I suddenly lost my grid view. I'll try to fix that as we go along. Anyway, it's a beautiful day out there. It is the season of giving, and the year of 2020 is winding down. Today, I can promise you, we will be hearing some really special reports from some really special people, and I'm just excited about what we've got on tap in our meeting today. Use the chat box to put comments and even questions out there. So let's get the meeting started. Welcome to Rotary Club of Harrisburg to our weekly meeting today, Monday, December 21st. Is there a bell?
Dong.
There you go. Let's ask Jeff Boswell to open our meeting with an invocation.
Thank you, President James. Good afternoon, everyone, and please join me in prayer. Dear God, during this holiday season and the COVID pandemic, give us the patience to listen, speak to our grief, our loneliness and uncertainty. Speak to us of the hope and peace that are in short supply. Speak to us of the love that will sustain us in the weeks and months to come. Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Then I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Rotary four-way test of all the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Let's keep the Rotary four-way test front and center as we go through our week.
All right, well, our song today comes from No Last Call. It's going to be the Carol of the Bells.
Adeline, real quick, is that Ted?
Oh, I do believe it is Ted. You might be seeing a little bit of Lori Reese in this video too. But yes, this is from the Joy to the Berg 2019 album, which is also available on the Joy to the Berg website. You can order you can get a package deal, actually. You can get both the 2020 and the 2019 albums, or you can buy them separately. And they're available to download, so you can listen to it right away, or if you want to pick it up at Carnes, they're available at all the Carnes stores, or you can order them and have them delivered. But let's hear the Carol of the Bells.
Terrific.
Yes, it's Carol of the Bells, like you've never heard it before. That's right. But Joy to the Berg is our grant project for the year. And the Rotary Club of Harrisburg really had a big part in helping to underwrite the project. And so 100% of the proceeds from album sales are going to support homeless initiatives right here in the Harrisburg area. The Rotary Club of Harrisburg has been involved in staffing the homeless shelter in Harrisburg, and we've been involved in homeless initiatives now for a number of years. So buy your album. There's mine. And if you'd like to know how to get a Joy to the Berg t-shirt, make sure you talk to Steve Swartz, and you might be able to get involved in the project again next year. And I think that's how you go about getting one of those t-shirts. We love our t-shirts right here in the Rotary Club of Harrisburg. Oh my goodness. Okay, enough of that. We have some really, really special people. Charlie Santiago has been, really helping to take the point and our just relating to our friends in the Dominican. Usually we take a trip to the Dominican each year in November, and clearly we weren't able to do that this year. But we've got the president of the Rotary Club of Susquehanna right on our meeting here with us today. So Charlie, do you want to kind of help that report to happen?
Yeah, thanks, James. So good afternoon, everybody. Great seeing everyone. Merry early Christmas. This is our Christmas meeting. But, we have special guest, Daudis Casavelli, gonna give us a little update. I'm gonna function as a translator today for some of this. It was, last year we had such a great experience going to Samana with working with Dowdy's Club in the Santa Barbara area. And I mean, just a special group of people. We could not have asked for a better group of people to work with, and always amazed by just the courtesy and how welcomed we were, and all the support, and just the things that they're doing around the island. In my opinion, that area that they represent is probably one of the most beautiful areas of the country. So that was really nice, just being there as well. But we asked Dowdy's to kind of give us an update on what's happening down there with COVID, with how the country's dealing with it, what they're able to do, what they're doing now, and kind of what the plans are in the future. So Dowdy's, I don't know if can you hear?
Okay.
Bien. No sé si tú entendiste la presentación, la introducción, pero para que nos hable un poquito de todo, de cómo está allá, de cuál es la situación activa y cuáles son los planes.
Sí, buenas tardes. Un placer estar compartiendo con ustedes hoy.
Okay, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be participating with everyone today.
Nosotros como club nos sentimos agradecidos por la invitación.
As a club, we're grateful for the invitation.
Nosotros lamentamos no haber podido realizar nuestro gran operativo odontológico como cada año.
Yeah, we're sad that we didn't get to do our great dental operation as we do every year.
Ya que no fue culpa de nosotros, sino del COVID.
Yeah.
Y
As it wasn't
esperamos
our fault.
que el año próximo, depende de cómo circulen las vacunas, podamos realizar en su fecha correspondiente
And we hope that next
el
year,
gran
depending
operativo.
on what happens, that at its due date, we can continue the operative.
Acá nosotros tenemos prácticamente casi 600 casos de COVID,
Okay, currently in the
Samaná como
country,
provincia.
oh, 600 en Samana?
Sí.
Oh, currently in the Samana Peninsula, they have about 600 cases of the coronavirus.
Nosotros, ya que no pudimos hacer el operativo, nosotros nos enfocamos en otros proyectos.
Okay. Since we weren't able to do the dental operative, we have been focusing on some other projects.
Como cambiamos el piso de tierra por cemento.
Yeah. So one thing that we're doing is, or one thing that they're doing is they're changing people in poverty's homes that have dirt floors in their homes. So you think about something to be grateful for. There's people that don't have a floor. They're living on dirt, and they are trading their dirt floors for actual concrete flooring.
También tuvimos la oportunidad de hacerle transformar una casa completa a una familia de extrema pobreza.
Okay. They've also had an opportunity to have one switch to help a family in building their actual home. So they build a home for a very poor family.
Como las fotos que te envié, Charlie, si la puedes pasar, ¿tienes cómo mandarla ahora?
Déjame ver.
Creo que
Adeline,
fueron
can
5
I share
fotos.
some pictures?
Es una persona discapacitada, le falta una pierna, el padre de las niñas.
You should be all set, Charlie.
Dari, yo la voy a ir compartiendo y tú me...
Ok. Como te decía, las niñas fueron abandonadas por su madre y su padre discapacitado. Nosotros, sí, hacía presentarle el antes y el después. Ajá.
¿Cuál es esta?
Ahí estábamos entregando la casa formalmente. La primera que te envié, que es el antes. Bueno, te explico en lo que aparece el antes. Nosotros, con la colaboración del Club de Kansas City, nosotros empezamos el proyecto, cambiamos tu piso de tierra por cemento.
Okay. I was trying to load up the picture. But they started off with a family, and they've actually had some help with other clubs where they've been able to trade out different floors. So
Dentro de las casas que evaluamos para arreglarle el piso, encontramos una que no calificaba para el piso, sino para el cambio completo. Entonces ahí nos enfocamos en un proyecto único.
okay, so there was one situation where they saw the situation this family was in, and it was a unique situation where they actually replaced the whole house.
Y ahí hicimos la transformación.
And that's where they did the transformation. So I think I can share this now. This was the before picture. Can everybody see that?
Ok. Esa era la casita antes. Ahí vivían y dormían el padre y las dos niñas juntos.
So in this shack was
una
where
cama.
A father lived with his two daughters in
María.
one bed. Yeah.
Luego nosotros tumbamos la casa por completo.
So they knocked the whole house down. And,
y pudimos hacerle una casa adecuada con 2 habitaciones.
Esa. So they were able to build
Ese es el después.
A 2-bedroom house for the family, as you can see in the picture.
Sí. Ese ha sido nuestro proyecto de este año, ya que no tuvimos la oportunidad de realizar el acostumbrado odontológico con la colaboración de ustedes.
So that's the project we decided on this year, since we weren't able to do the dental project with the Harrisburg Club of Rotary. ¿Y cómo se está viendo la cosa para el año que viene?
Bueno, todo va a depender, lo del año que viene va a depender de las vacunas. Okay. Y cómo nosotros como país las recibamos. Okay. Cómo se maneja el gobierno. Eso ya no está al alcance nuestro.
Okay. So next year there's a lot depending on how the government manages the coronavirus situation with vaccines and everything moving forward. They'll have a better idea on what we can do, if we can do it, the project, dental project.
Pero tenemos esperanza porque el operativo normalmente lo hacemos en noviembre y tenemos prácticamente el año completo para organizarnos y ver qué pasa con el tema de las vacunas.
Okay. So we have a lot of hope because this project usually happens in November, so that gives us plenty of time, and the government and COVID. So we're very optimistic about the dental prospects in November. Dari, yo creo que ya estamos terminando en el tiempo. ¿Hay algo más que quiera decir?
No, nosotros no nos vamos a quedar cruzados de brazos mientras podemos hacer el operativo. Nosotros estamos haciendo y organizando operativos de siembra de árboles para enero.
Great. So yeah, we're not going to keep our arms crossed with the situation. We're going to do everything we can. We currently have in January, we're going to start a seed planting project.
alrededor de los ríos,
around the rivers.
en lo que nos da la oportunidad de ya realizar la rutina nuestra acostumbrada.
While we get the opportunity to continue our accustomed routines. I'm going to ask if there ¿ustedes te están encontrando personalmente ya on Zoom?
No, nosotros nos estamos reuniendo vía Zoom.
Okay, so they're still meeting through Zoom as well, just like we are. I think that's our time. Adeline and James, I know we had a short time, it probably went over, but were there any other questions for Dowdy's?
No,
Perdón?
not really at the moment, but thank you. I'm going to say, bear with me, gracias, right? As I say that.
Gracias a ustedes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here and being a part of our meeting today. And we look forward to continuing to work with you in the future.
Que gracias por todo, Dowdy, que estamos optimistas de trabajar con ustedes muy pronto en el futuro.
Así es, nosotros también. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. We're eager as well to work with
Bye, bye.
Bye-bye.
So our club has worked together with the Rotary Club and Susquehanna there for a number of years, and we're so glad that the technology that we have available today made this kind of thing possible. Thank you so much again, Doris. We appreciate you and have a blessed holiday season. Well, this week's lunch money is being donated to Hanna's Pantry, and Hanna's Pantry is just kind of another example. Rotarians around the world, it doesn't matter what's happening. Rotarians are the kinds of people that look at their community and find ways to do service above self. And Hanna's Pantry is just one of those examples. Today's lunch budget is being donated to Hanna's Pantry. Now, if your lunch money is not included in your dues, or if you'd like to donate over and above, then go out to hannafoundation.org and click the donate button to make a donation there. We do have a team headed over to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank to help pack boxes of food again this evening. To be a part of that, make sure that you go out to the events calendar on the Rotary Club of Harrisburg website, click one of the dates that are showing up there as links, and you can get yourself signed up to do that. Now, make sure when you come out to do a project, make sure you're wearing a Rotary t-shirt. As we said, we love those t-shirts, and the way to get one is to make sure that you're being a part of a project. If you're signed up for the project and you don't have a t-shirt, get in touch with Adeline, and we want to make sure that you have the appropriate garb. The Hanson Award is something that we hand out each year to a Rotary Club of Harrisburg member that has leadership, has demonstrated leadership ability and interest. And the Hanson awardee receives a seat on the board for the following Rotary year, a small stipend for Rotary leadership training. To nominate someone in our club for the Hanson Award, make sure to go out to hbgrotary.org. You'll find the nomination form and the criteria there. We'd like to have Hanson Award nominees or nominations back to Adeline by December 31st of this year. Thank you so much to our corporate members, but we so appreciate your ongoing support. Your financial support helps to make possible many of the humanitarian projects that we're involved with each year. And a great big thank you to each one of our members as well. Each person individually, we can do so much, right? But when we collectively work together, we really do make a difference in the world. Our Community Service Award each year we select a member of our club who has just done some outstanding things in terms of community service. You can see some of the folks who received the Community Service Award here on the slide in front of you. And I think the slide goes on, doesn't it, Adeline? The list goes on to the next slide. This year's Community Service Award winner is Susan Anthony. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Ellen Brown at this point. Ellen's a member of our program committee. She is just great to work with. But Ellen, could you do some introductions and maybe a little bit of commentary on Community Service Awards?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, James. And welcome, everyone. It's so nice to see another wonderful turnout for Susan Anthony's Community Service Award. From a Rotarian's perspective, the Community Service Award meeting is one of the most important of the year. This year, it's genuinely fitting that the award is being presented the week of what would be Rotary's annual holiday luncheon and celebration. Susan is the 43rd recipient of the Community Service Award. And if this were any other year, she'd be seated at a table in front of the podium with friends she's invited to celebrate this outstanding achievement. And after being presented the award prior to this point in time, the Community Service Award winner would be joined on stage for a commemorative photo opportunity with all the prior Community Service Award winners. But as we all know, this is not a traditional year, but Susan is not the conventional person either. As many of you know, part of her legacy is that she was a member of the Patriot News family for quite a long time. And there could be no more significant contribution to community service than spending most of one's professional life as part of our regional news organization of record, the Patriot News and Penn Live. And for that reason, we've asked Kate Barron, who more than anyone knows what Susan is willing to give to her community and what she has accomplished, to introduce Susan as our Community Service Award winner this year. So thanks so much for Kate for being here.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Rotary Club of Harrisburg, for inviting me to be at your ceremony for the Community Service Award. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be able to introduce my longtime colleague and dear friend, Susan Anthony. Sue lives and breathes community service. I won't begin to do her resume justice, but I do want to mention her work with some organizations: Dauphin County Library, Harrisburg Arts Festival, Harrisburg Opera, Pennsylvania Public Relations Society. She's a Rotary International Graduate Fellow, a Leadership Harrisburg grad. She's served on the Mayor's Commission for Literacy. She's helped with 1 million, and I'm not exaggerating, 1 million local service projects, most recently Hannah's Pantry a couple minutes ago with the Susquehanna School District, where she's been communications director. This has been such a difficult year, but she has not let the pandemic and personal loss slow these efforts down. Sue's a true servant leader, and I'm going to emphasize the leader here. She ended up chairing many of the boards and organizations that I just mentioned. They all benefited greatly from her wit and wisdom, her boundless energy, and her power of persuasion. And that the latter is really her superhero skill. It's just about impossible to say no to a request from Sue Anthony. If any of you have done it, let me know. On top of these great attributes, I'm going to add another. Sue always thinks big. She'll take a little idea or project and turn it into a source of good for so many, many people. At her heart, Sue Anthony is an educator. Before she joined the Patriot, she taught English at Upper Dauphin. And she still has a bit of the teacher in her voice and bearing. I don't know about you all, but I always sit up a little straighter and listen a little more attentively when I'm around her. Just can't help it. While at Upper Dauphin, Sue served as an advisor for the school newspaper, and I'm thinking maybe that's where she got some of the ink in her blood. I'm sure it appealed to her immense love of reading, which would in turn make her a powerful champion for literacy. To our good fortune, Sue took her skills and interests to the Patriot, eventually running our community relations department. Through sheer force of will, she was able to make a large part of that job all about educating young people. Susan has contacts in every school district in our region, and she has touched the lives of thousands of students throughout the years through programs including National Spelling Bee, Science Fair, Scholastic Arts and Writing. She founded our newspaper and education program, which gets papers into the hands of students with a strong literacy component for the teachers that use it as well. Susan went on to develop a national reputation for her outstanding NIE work. In fact, it would earn her, yes, remember, she thinks big, it would earn her international honors. She's really that well known in those circles. Finally, I just have a quick story that I think tells a little bit about today's award winner.
Oh no.
And I'm taking this from a column that you wrote for the paper a while ago. You know which one I'm talking about. By the way, did I mention Susan is a superb writer? Anyway, this column was about a hobby that she had as a 15-year-old, and I'll quote from it. Susan's voice. My mom suggested that as an only child with way too much time on my hands during the summer, I write letters to people. Mom was thinking I would converse with people I knew or who knew me. Not Sue Anthony. Instead, I penned notes to politician Hubert Humphrey, Indian stateswoman Indira Gandhi, comedian Victor Borge, psychic Jean Dixon, and Lana Peters. Lana was otherwise known as Joseph Stalin's daughter, who just defected to the United States. And yes, Sue writes, they all wrote back to me. Well, of course they did. This was Sue Anthony asking them to be her pen pal. You just have to say yes, no matter your status in life. You can bet they all sat up a bit straighter too when they were writing those notes, Sue. I have no doubt. Even as a young teenager, she was already showing those powers of persuasion and ability to think big that have served our community so well through her public service and will continue to do so for years to come. We're going to make you, Sue. Congratulations on receiving the Rotary Club's Community Service Award. What esteemed company you are joining. So well deserved. We love you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kate. What a surprise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to Ellen and thank you to James. And it's good to see all of the fellow Rotarians. There are a lot of important things going on in the world today. Rather than listening to me acknowledge this honor. But there is perhaps nothing more important in this world than a way of life, a life force, if you will, that embraces service. I remember my grandmother telling me as a youngster that she always cooked enough food to leave a container at the end of the vegetable garden hanging on a wooden fence. Hobos, as she called them, walked behind the house on Square Street in Harrisburg, having hopped off the train, and all the neighbors, according to Graham, were provided with meals. She told me this as historical reference, by the way, not about providing or giving, but the story was not lost on me. I also remember arriving home from school, the family now living in suburban Progress, to often find my clothes closet cleaned out, emptied of its Bobby Brooks matching wool skirts, cardigans, and knee-highs. Mom had befriended a young single woman with many children in a challenging situation. And as my mom rightly told her brat of a teenager, these kids needed your clothes. You do what you can do, she said. Lesson learned. As an aside, that mom, who had been in need, attended my mom's memorial service this fall, some 50 years later. Fast forward to Rotary and its transformative impact on my life. Thanks to Chuck Sinkner, the Colonial Park Club, and our district, I was selected to be a fellow, an ambassadorial graduate scholar at the University of Leicester in England. There I studied sociology and psychology in education with Daniel Goleman, who was working at the time on his groundbreaking identification of emotional intelligence. I also spoke at Rotary and Rotary Ann meetings, traveled the United Kingdom and Europe with Rotary families and other graduate fellows, and was cared for in loco parentis by Ann and John Simpson. I did fail the four-way test, one particularly spectacular way during my 18-month experience in England. I served a Thanksgiving dinner to Ann and John and several other Rotary couples. Here I was, 21, a recent college grad, newly minted high school English teacher in England, never having really prepared a meal. And here I was walking home from the butcher carrying a whole complete turkey. Head, beady eyes, beak, feathers, little legs, innards in place, removed from a hook where it had been hanging outside the shop. I recall phoning my mother in a panic. She said her turkeys came frozen, pretty much ready for the oven after thawing, and that they had these little teeny buttons that popped up when birds were ready. I remember imploring my British dad to serve a lot of drinks that evening, so perhaps no one would notice. In true British fashion, this incident was never spoken of, but I did learn to grow into skills and abilities that might affect others. My British dad, John Simpson, was the epitome of a Rotarian. He instilled in me that it was not only a duty to be of service, but that it was a privilege and an opportunity to be involved and engaged. He practiced the four-way test in ordinary and extraordinary ways. It has been my joy to visit England almost every year since 1976, to be with my British family or for them to visit here. John passed away a number of years ago, and prior to my mother's death at 94 this September, my British mom, Anne, passed away in March, also at the age of 94. I'm honored to be delivering Anne's eulogy at a memorial service in London sometime in the future. I will most likely speak about Rotary and its enduring relationships. And as Kate mentioned, I eventually had the extreme good fortune to succeed William T. Lunsford Jr. at the Patriot News as the community service director. It was a dream job to help improve the lives of Central Pennsylvania's young people through literacy and student achievement programs. I still run into kids, they're a lot older now, who remember having to spell the word accommodate. It was the first word always in the regional B. Some went to the International Science Fair and remembered it, one having built a laser in his basement by hand. Some, lucky he still had a hand, some received gold keys for their poetry, which they can still recite to this day. Rotarians, by the way, contributed to all of these programs in countless ways. You and those before you served as judges in various competitions, provided leadership on various committees, sponsored special awards and scholarships, and provided a wealth of opportunity to the youth of our region. And I know that Jack Detweiler is still involved as a Rotarian with Science Fair. I'm sure that there are others as well. Somewhere along the way, Jean Beattie, founder of Channels Food Rescue, brought me into Rotary membership, which was truly like coming home. And it was also somewhere along the way, after a bunch of volunteer activities and boards, memberships, committees, and a fair amount of gray hair, that I now focus service efforts in board memberships, as mentioned, Hanna's Pantry, the library, and the Susquehanna Art Museum. To me, it is all about feeding the body, feeding the mind, and feeding the spirit. And I can tell you, although as Rotarians you already know this, needs have never been greater. Hanna's Pantry, which is under the administrative wing of the Hanna Foundation, provides food and essential products to the most vulnerable of Susquehanna Township. Almost 2 decades ago, a school nurse came to the aid of a student who fainted on the playground. Turns out the kid was hungry. She created a feeding program. But in one of those conversations that we used to have at the grocery store, I found out that this tour de force was retiring. The church she affiliated her program with was closing, and the fate of the program was unclear. The mindset, as James mentioned, of a Rotarian kicked in. Helpers enthusiastically came to the table, and in the spring of 2019, Hanna's Pantry was created. Distributions of staples, fresh produce, frozen meats, poultry and fish, milk, eggs, cheese, bread, and more initially served some 80 families. This November, the pantry served 327 households. Said another way, that's 1,309 individuals, 536 who are under the age of 17. Our next drive-through grab and go holiday distribution occurs tomorrow night. There will be dozens of socially distanced volunteers in masks and gloves, a fire truck with floodlights, police directing traffic, and more than 160 vehicles with township residents who are experiencing food insecurity. Members who come for food are extremely grateful. Many share difficult health, home, and family situations. Some cannot believe that they are in need and vow that as soon as their situation improves, they will come to the pantry and volunteer. Lately, some express desperation. I'm pretty sure I speak with 2 people who I intuitively sense are living in their vehicles. And because Susquehanna Township School District is now the most diverse district in the Commonwealth with more than 26 languages in play, we also have some amusing nonverbal conversations. Hanna's Pantry could not exist without fellow Rotarian Joe Arthur and the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. The pantry is but one agency or distribution point in his huge operation, and Joe and the food bank have risen with passion and precision to the challenges of COVID. By the way, Joe forecasts increased need to continue for at least another 2 years. By the way, I would like to thank the club today for donating to Hanna's Pantry, and I look forward to seeing other club members this evening at the farm show as we pack boxes for the food bank. The Dauphin County Library System, known as the library, is an open book, a limitless resource, a free in-person and virtual service to residents of Dauphin County and beyond. There are 8 physical locations, 1 massive location online, and an outreach van called Marco. Yes, there are books, DVDs, CDs, magazines, newspapers, but there are computers, programs, online access to so much more. Karen Cullings, the executive director and also a member of this club, gave you stats in a recent presentation, so I won't repeat them. But I will share that we really don't shush people anymore, unless, of course, the gregarious Ski or the gregarious Bob Hostetter happen to be present. Then we might do some shushing. We welcome everyone. We take the van to the homeless, displaced encampments to charge electronic devices. We're a second responder to underserved individuals with computers for job searches. Our materials collection has been honored for its inclusive range of diversity. And the library works with schools with dwindling financial resources for all access memberships for students and educators. The library has never been more relevant, vibrant, accessible, forward, and outward thinking. The library has recently acquired one of the Governor's Row homes on Front Street. the building next to the downtown library, in order to expand opportunities, especially but not limited to city families, students, workers, and businesses. Thanks to expertise from Rotarian Marian Alexander and others, the library will connect the two historic structures in what will be an aesthetic restoration and a necessary renovation for accessibility, technology, and post-pandemic wellness. The library will gain an enrichment center for children with a focus on science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math, gathering spaces for meetings and programs, and a special spot for professional entrepreneurial business leadership engagement. The Commonwealth Monument Project recently entrusted the library to continue its work after unveiling the magnificent Gathering at the Crossroads sculpture on Walnut Street. The monument commemorates constitutional amendments giving African Americans and women the right to vote, and features 4 historically and locally significant Black Americans who shaped our national persona. Rotarians Peggy Grove, Janice Black, Jeb Stewart, and more contributed so much to this project. The McCormick Riverfront Library's soon-to-be Welcome Center, but a few blocks away from the monument, is being named for T. Morris Chester, one of 4 individuals depicted in the sculpture. Chester, a Harrisburg native, was a Civil War newspaper correspondent and a civil rights attorney. You may know his name from historical markers in front of Whitaker Center, on Chestnut Street, and at Lincoln Cemetery in Pembroke. In addition to the community services available through the library and Hanna's Pantry, the Susquehanna Art Museum also serves the community. SAM feeds or fuels the spirit. There, the visual arts unleash imagination, stir creative vision, express stories, and bring perspective into view. Art encourages emotional responses and makes connections. It provides a respite, a break, an escape from a world sometimes gone askew or a world sometimes right side up. It illuminates the depths of existence. It probes societal issues and often gives us hope. Medical students take classes at the museum and discuss, among other things, existence, compassion, and empathy. Children board the outreach vehicle Van Gogh to escape, to wonder, to feel joy. Exhibits continually inspire. I'm going to say 2 words right now that are going to perk you up. In conclusion, I want to acknowledge previous Community Service Award recipients. What an impressive lot. I won't ever measure up to the incredible service you have all offered for so many years. As Andy Rebuck would exclaim, you guys rock. And I think maybe you've hit the bottom of the barrel, actually, with me. I actually dreamed at one point that somebody might call for a recount of the ballots for this award. But I already have it and I'm not giving it up, so forget about that. I would like to shout out one particular award recipient, and that is Betty Hungerford. Thank you for being a much admired friend, a mentor, and a sounding board. I was asked to talk about service. I tried to do that. Here's the executive summary. Mom, do what you can do. John Simpson, it is our duty, privilege, and opportunity to serve. Turkey debacles, build friendships, but learn abilities and skills along the way to make your friendships work. The Patriot News, improve the lives of others. Rotary, it goes without saying, service above self. Me, being of service to others is about feeding the body, mind, and spirit. And remembering my mom, who died due to complications of COVID, I ask that we all serve one another by wearing masks, socially distancing, washing hands, getting the vaccine, and remaining safe. to James, my guests, fellow award recipients, to Ellen Brown for arranging all of this, and to Rotarians and Club 23 in all the world. Thank you much. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to put my pantry mask on. And I'm going to put my library mask on. And I'm going to put my, can you still hear me? I'm going to put my Susquehanna Art Museum mask on, which I can't get over this ear. So here you go, everybody. Thank you very much.
Let's give it up for Susan Anthony. Excellent, excellent presentation. Susan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you for all that you're doing with your life. It is an honor and a privilege to count you as a friend and a member of our club. Thank you so much. My fellow Rotarians, the details that we are accustomed to are different. But with today's meeting, I hope you can see with me that Rotary is alive and well here in Harrisburg, around central Pennsylvania, and around the world. We are on that train together. Thank you so much for all that you do. On January 11th, we will be doing a mid-year review. We're going to talk about all that we've accomplished so far this year, and we're going to look forward to the second half of this Rotary year. I'm looking forward to seeing you then. You know, go out and love on somebody this holiday season, right? As we close out the year, send somebody a card, say thank you, give them a smile. Do what you can to make the world a better place right there in your corner. Thank you again to Susan. Thank you to everyone. Make it a great Rotary rest of the year.